I'm gone. Understand this is the plan to get in stronger, last longer, determination to work harder and harder. Soon all of your dreams come true. Very soon your dreams come true. Do all that you have to do. Do all that you have to do. Stay focused, don't bend or quit. Stay focused, don't bend. Story is not over yet. Learn to live your life there. On top. See yourself there. Let me hear you say. On top. That's the only place God has you. I imagine being there. On top. You belong there. On top. Let me hear you say. On top. That's the only place I want to be. All the way from the bottom. Wonder where's your support. Understand this is the plan to get in stronger, lasting longer, determination to work harder and harder. Soon all of your dreams come true. Every one of your dreams come true. Do all that you have to do. Do all you gotta do. Stay focused, don't bend or quit. The story is not over yet. Learn to live your life there. On top. See yourself there. On top. Let me hear you say. On top. That's the only place God has you. I imagine being there. On top. You belong there. On top. Let me hear you say. On top. That's the only place I want. Oh, Jesus. Jesus will pull you from the bottom. Yes, He will. Do you believe on top is where you belong? And He pour out innovation, creation, manifesting all the time. Do you believe on top is where you belong? Soon all of your dreams come true. Soon all of your dreams come true. Do all that you have to do. Do all you gotta do. Stay focused, don't bend or quit. Don't bend or quit. Story is not over yet. Yeah, I gotta live your life, yeah. On top, I can see myself there. On top, let me hear you say. On top, that's the only place God has you. You belong there. On top, go with there. On top, let me hear you say. On top, that's the only place I want to be. Everything discussed on this show originated as public information. So if your name come up, it ain't my fault because it's already out there and I read it and I saw it. Commentary is given about what has been said or done by me and commenters and those that I have on the show. If you don't want to be discussed, then don't do anything that ends up being on the internet. Because if I read it, I'm going to talk about it. All right, so y'all don't be wearing me when I talk about y'all. You done got it out there. Go ahead and start the show, Nancy. Start. I wanna be. And welcome to LarryReidLive, and as you can see, it's going to be a very interesting show because on tonight, this is Thursday night, this isn't our normal show day. Now, if you want to watch us every single week, that's Mondays at 7 p.m., but tonight, I promised you that I was going to do something special, and it's done got more special. Why? Because my mentor is in town, and he's with me on the set, none other, hold on, they got all these names, hold on. Always. Master Prophet, Archbishop, was it Arch or Arch?
Arch.
Archbishop Bernard Elijah Jordan.
Well, bless you, Larry. LarryReidLive.
I mean, okay, so he's going to be involved in this conversation, and so it's going to be a little different tonight. My special guest tonight that's going to be giving us the information, and Bishop Jordan has a relationship with him, so it's going to be very interesting. Dr. Shammah Womack, you've seen the commercials here on this platform, and he's going to talk to us about how secrets affect our body. We're also going to talk about two of the main diseases that affect our community, cancer and also diabetes. And so he's going to talk to us about that, tell us the foods. Probably going to get mad at him on tonight because some of the things he's going to share. And then also, Bishop Jordan and Dr. Shammah are brilliant guys. I had an opportunity to sit down with them at his compound and just listen to them talk along with their wives. And in that moment, I said, God, it would be really good to have them both on the show. And things just worked out. He didn't even know I had booked Shammah for tonight, and he was coming in town. And so it just worked out wonderfully. So this conversation is not going to be just what I'm saying it's going to be. It's going to get way more expanded, and it's going to be really, really good. If you enjoyed the interview I done with Jordan, Carton Pearson, and some of these other great ones, this great conversation, this is going to be one of those nights where we're going to have superb conversation. I need for you to share right now. Share with all of your social media following on Periscope, Facebook, and YouTube. That's right. We're live everywhere, and I see y'all coming in, but I need for y'all to share right now because we're about to have the conversation. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and have, Lord Jesus, I supposed to already text him, told him to be on the line. He ain't on the line. I'm so sorry. Hold on for a minute. Let me see. All right, so he about to come on the line. As soon as he pop in on the line, we're going to get started. Now, this is one thing that I want to say to you, Bishop. I didn't even realize this. With all this stuff that had been going on with the lawyers prior to this last thing, now these two new cases, plus, the slashing of my tire and all this different stuff and thousands and thousands of dollars. I'm just the kind of person where I'm like, this is what it is. We got to do it. Let's go. I got, my baby mom, my children, Kendall, Shamako's my best friend, other people like family that are connected around, my mom and dad.
Yes.
I'm good. But then when I saw him today and I gave him a hug, and there's always a certain way that Bishop likes to hug. He likes to hug heart to heart.
Yes.
And so I was going regular, and then he moved me over like this side. And
heart to heart.
Heart to heart.
And I learned that from Bishop Womack.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, because he taught us that you do heart to heart, your energy is greater. When you do the other way, your heart is away from each other, so it's more of a disconnection.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's why every time I hug someone, they usually want to go the way where there's not the strong connection, but we go heart to heart. And that way, when you hug a person, you want to make sure it's heart meeting heart. Heart to heart. Okay,
that's very interesting. And hold on. I did mention on another show something about the major arteries of the heart ending in the fingertips. I was playing, but I was talking about when you got to get this paper Bible and you got to touch and turn the word of the Lord. And that's what I was joking about, but it's a true statement. And so I really believe in that there's certain body positions that you can get in that really have a greater meaning as far as energy and spirit. Such as, I think that's one of the reasons why we pray on our knees, pray on our face, and all that kind of going on.
Well, when you do your hands like this, people think that this is something that's Christian, with your hands folded together, like a praying hand. But this really originated in Hinduism. This is Hindu.
Okay,
it's a mudra.
A mudra.
Yeah. Mudra, they call them the yogas of the fingers. So it's different positions that they have. So, that's kind of interesting. Sometimes it's good just to study where the origin of things happen.
Wow.
So we adopt so many things in our Christian faith, thinking it originated in Christianity when it had its origination in other kinds of traditions. But when Bishop Womack is going to open up the people's minds tonight. And so whatever you're doing, if you know people that are seekers tonight, have them tune in to Larry Reid Live, even the doubters, even those that are even those that are controversial, because their lifeline will be extended.
Yeah.
Because what Bishop Womack, in every community, God gives every community priests. In every community, God gives every community seers. In every community, in some tradition, they may call them shamans or healers.
Yeah.
And when you don't listen to the traditional healers of your community, then you live at the default of the system. And you want to make sure that you're not looking at the standard American diet. Because when you look at SAD, that's sad.
Standard American diet, sad. Got it.
You know, so when you get with Bishop Womack is going to turn the lights on in the community, and he is the priest of increase.
Okay, let me go ahead and say this. Here's this. Dr. Womack is going to do all of that, but he's going to make you mad because some of the things that he said to me and to my, you can't eat collards. I'm like, the black folk not eating collards. So first of all, I didn't eat them when I was coming up. I didn't get into collards for like the last 6 years. And now that I like collards, you saying you got to take my collards and fried chicken and macaroni and cheese. So this is going to be very interesting conversation. And remember tonight, we're going to talk even about some of the trending topics lately. Bishop Bernard Jordan, Dr. Shammah Womack are brilliant men. And I have had the opportunity. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, somebody been knowing me for a long time. They said, you always have friends that are like way older than you, even for years, even before I met you. Most of the people I talk to on the phone on the regular, they're going to be 20, 30 years older than me. And one of the great things of being able to have relationship with you guys is that for a black man, I feel like I'm advanced for a 41-year-old black man, even when it comes to business and when it comes to certain things that I do. Yeah. And I think it has a lot to do with surrounding myself with people like you, having people like Dr. Shammah in my life that I can call and that I can deal with, and even show me how to do certain level of business.
Well, do you want a prophecy right now?
Yeah, I'll take a prophecy, especially if it's free.
Okay, here it is. All prophecies are free because you can't afford them. Oh. But that's another conversation. Okay. So, a prophecy, look at your 5 best friends, and it's a prophecy of where your future is headed.
And that's for anybody, right?
That's the word of the Lord.
Okay.
For everyone that's there. So, if you look at the people that are in your life, it is revealing where you're headed. Poor people create poor people. Rich people create rich people. Wise mentors make you wise. Dumb mentors will keep you as a fool. Get 5 people that you are connected with in life, and those 5 individuals will be a revealer of where you're headed in the future.
Yeah, people that want something in life. That's something that all of us can take something out of that statement. We're going to have all these kind of aha moments and great things we're going to pull away all night, because on the line now is the man literally with the master plan. This is the doctor of wellness, holistic medicine, and preventive medicine, Dr. Shammah. That sound like tongue.
Shammah.
Dr. Shammah. Dr. Shammah Womack. Are you there on the line, sir?
Yes, I am here. Dr. Shammah Womack L.
Dr.
How you doing, Larry?
All right, I'm so.
How's my cosmic brothers doing?
Listen, I'm doing great. You know, Dr. Womack, I have my pen out. I got my book out.
Yeah,
you don't come to Larry Reid Live with a book and a pen, but when I heard you were on, I went and got my paper. So I want you to get your book and your paper, because you're going to be writing some stuff down that Dr. Shammah Womack L is going to share with you today.
Absolutely. And this is and I want you guys to go ahead and share, because we're going to start probably taking notes and learning a whole lot. But these men are very expansive. And so we're going to even ask them some questions concerning the recent trending topics. And you don't want to go nowhere to find out what they have to say and what they think. And fix this picture and get it up off his hat, please. Thank you very much. All right, let's go, Dr. Shammah Womack. First of all, I'm just meeting you. Really about, it'll soon be a year, almost a year ago. You invited me to your party, went to your party. It was excellent. It was wonderful. And I began to hear all these testimonies of these people that I'm thinking they were like very old, but they look very young. They move like young people, talk, eyes full of life. And I'm like, what in the world? Is this man a witch doctor? What in the world? What's he doing? Sprinkling with dust? How is they moving like this? And so I was all ears. I was listening to this woman. She spoke so strong that she was part of the civil rights movement or something.
Yes,
She had
Mother Jeffries.
Yes, I said, this woman is. And she's talking about how she was basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, given a terrible doctor's report. And then she ran into you, Dr. Shammah. How did you get into healing people with food and this preventive, holistic thing that you do?
It's very simple, very simple. Just go back to God's original plan. There are a lot of people that are involved. They call alternative medicine. You might hear that term. I don't believe in alternative medicine. And there are a lot of people that's pushing that under the umbrella of holistic medicine, naturopathic medicine. I believe that we need to go back to God's original medicine. And when we go back to God's original medicine, we don't need alternative medicine. Go back to God's dietary laws. Go back to God's real food, real fruit, real seeds. The things that we're eating today are hybrids. I heard you talk about collard greens. Most people of color, especially where you're at, down in Georgia, they're eating collard greens and don't realize that that's what the slave master threw out to us after he actually extracted what was called wild greens, and what was left was basically this hybrid that they actually created called collard greens. So a lot of things that we consume is not God's original food. So what I introduced is, number one, eating with the seasons and eating God's food, going back to God's law, God's plan. If we do it that way, we're okay. We can reverse the curse of sickness and disease by going back to God's original plan.
Dr. Shammah, hold. That's the way. That is so much that quick. So the first thing we need to do is eat fruit and things with seed. Go back and review the dietary laws. And then you done throw it in there and make sure I got it right, that collard greens really is what the slave master or the master what threw out to the slaves after he extracted what was good, and you call that wild greens?
Wild greens is the original greens. That's what we had in the jungles in Africa as aboriginals, as indigenous people, as people native to the land. Wild greens, things that grew up wild in the jungle. Those are the things that have voltage and frequency and electrical. It has electricity for our cells, because your cells is electrical.
Oh, I've been talking about that, Dr. Shammah. I have your book here called Voltage Foods, Empowering Cells and Boosting Health Through Your Diet. I've been talking about that. So talk about the cell, because one of the things that, and I knew about this prior to knowing Dr. Shammah, but he took it a whole nother level. I knew that when it came to cancer, it's basically abnormal cell growth and abnormalities amongst the cell. And I knew that we need to drink a lot of water so that our cells can, I think they form, they die, form and die. But if they form and don't die properly, they create these mass of cells. So talk to us about that and about your book, Voltage Foods. Everybody been asking me where to get it. They can't find it. So when you talk about it, also tell us where we can get the book.
Okay. First of all, they can get the book they can either call us or go to my website, www.bishopwomack.com, or give us a call at 973-748-0090. When you're eating foods that are from God's original idea, God's original plan, those are the foods that actually have enzymes. Enzymes are activators. That's the food that has life. Every cell in your body has a proton, a neutron, an electron, and you should be eating foods that are revitalizing your cells to rejuvenate your cells. When you put in something that's dead, something from a box, something from a can, something from a package, something that if you put in the ground, it doesn't grow. Actually, anything that you get in a package or in a can and you put in the ground, it doesn't grow. It needs to stay in the ground because it's dead. These things need to be buried. They should not be consumed in your body. So when you're eating something that has life, you're going to have life. As Jesus said, I have come so that you might have life and have it more abundantly. Why is it that so many people are not having life? Because they're putting foods that are causing glycation, oxidation, as well as inflammation, because they're putting in foods that are creating pus, mucus, phlegm, no voltage, nothing electrical, no frequency. So we're seeing a bunch of folks, especially people of color, that are suffering with sickness and diseases that they actually created because they're not putting God's food in their body.
Wow.
Okay, now I want to know where. Okay, I got to get back to that because I want to talk about that. But I want to know, because part of our conversation tonight, I want to know where you come from. Because it's like when you started talking this stuff, and of course we know about, and I always say
He came from his mother's womb.
I know, but I always say that he's the modern day Dr. Sebi. And then folk like to say stuff like, oh, he's just regurgitating what Dr. Sebi done and he's not giving Dr. Sebi credit. Tell us where you come from and how this knowledge was passed down to you and who mentored you. Tell us about that.
I've been doing this for over 40 years. I actually happened to come across Dr. Sebi probably about 5 years ago. I didn't know Dr. Sebi until probably about 5 years ago. But I've been doing this for over, I would say 40 years. And one thing you got to understand is all truth is parallel. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, my friend Archbishop Jordan, there have been many times I didn't know what he was preaching. He's on the other side of the river in New York. I'm in New Jersey. Come to find out, all truth is parallel. Yeah. He's preaching on black presence of the Bible. I'm teaching on black presence of the Bible. He's writing the book, has a book on something. The thing about truth, when we understand truth, somebody can be on the other side of the globe doing the same thing. And here's the thing that we need to understand, Larry. Slavery destroys us. Yeah. Religion divides us. Ignorance controls us. Truth scares us.
Repeat.
So what happens?
Repeat.
Hold on.
Repeat.
Bishop, say that slow because I got to write that down. This is a new pearl.
Okay.
Go ahead. Say it again. What did you say?
I was saying we as a people need to understand that slavery is really what destroyed us. Religion divided us. Okay. And to this day, ignorance controls us. And truth scares us.
Wow.
So when somebody said, well, he's just repeating what Dr. Sebi is, it doesn't matter as you're saying truth. I believe that the highest religion of all religions, which we should embrace, is not fire baptized holiness, it's not Church of God in Christ, it's not Church of God, it's not Kojic, it's not PHW, it's not Baptist Presbyterian. I believe the highest religion of all that everybody needs to embrace is truth. Truth. So where did I come from? I am the first son of Dr. Donald Womack, a great man of God, a pedagogue, a theologian, a pastor, an evangelist. He was one of the first men of color in our area in Essex County, New Jersey at that time that was covering 72 radio stations across the Caribbean, in Europe, United States. That was my mentor. I actually could not do anything without him. I'm standing on his shoulders right now, even though he's made his transition.
And that's your father, your natural father.
He was my mentor. He was a mystic. He was a teacher of success. He would say a priest of increase, a blessed, a dollar scholar. The one. He had his own Bible school, and accredited one at that, and not too many people of color have a accredited school. He would not allow me in his school because he said, I'm not going to let anybody say I gave you a degree. He said, I want you going to Pharaoh's court, and I want you to learn his way. And he sent me off to theological schools and seminaries as well as holistic schools. And then after that, I studied radiology. I was a diener, studied pathology. My radiologic teacher actually is the one who encouraged me to go into naturopathic science. because my teacher, who was German, said we don't have there's no naturopaths. Now this individual was a radiologist, and it was like, this is going to the future, holistic medicine. So I went to a particular workshop just for the weekend, just to see what it was, and I've been hooked ever since in dealing in God's original medicine that I call happy medicine, because happy people are healthy people, and healthy people are happy people. So I've been doing this, Larry, for over 40 years.
Okay, so I want everybody that is listening, that is in the chat, that will come back and watch this, to know that Dr. Shammah Womack, the mantle basically fell on him from his father, Donald. And this is the world that he has been in. And I had the opportunity of actually meeting him and his wife. And his wife is absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna say something live.
Have you met his mother?
No, I haven't.
Oh, his mother does not look a day over 55.
Well, I must have seen it and didn't think it was his mama. But they're sending a picture now of your wife. Let me tell you something. I'm saying this, and I know Shamako going to have something to say about it, but I'm going to go ahead and put it out there because that's what I do. How about, Shamako got a spirit on him of adultery. And every time I turn around, he talking about how somebody's wife is so nice and talking to them in the face. Same thing with David Branton, his wife, when we first met at your party. Yes. And he sat down there to talk the whole time. I was texting him. I said, quit talking to that man's wife. And he's talking about, no, we're just having a conversation with Michael, but you always find somebody else's wife to talk to. So when we went to the Prophet College, and he was up there teaching, and we had all this food, he was giving away the food that he made. And I want you to talk about that too, Dr. Shammah. And you asked for somebody to go help your wife, and you said, y'all go help her, but you made a statement like, I'm watching you if you're going to be helping my wife. And I said, he must really be a prophet, because Marco sure went back there to help her get that food. And I said, you looking at that man, looking at that man's wife. He said, I think she's a very nice lady. I said, Marco, from now on, when a woman is married, do not stay away from them, because I don't know what in the world wrong with you. You always connect to these folks' wives. But he's a very beautiful wife. She's just as smart as he is. They make a wonderful black power couple, which we really need to see more of. Now, when it comes to these foods with the water and the charge that it gives the cell properly, in the chat, I'm seeing people talking about they have problems digesting. In the chat, they're saying that when they eat, they go to sleep. It's almost like they've been sedated. What is that coming from? And what is the remedy that you cook up in the kitchen that gave the Bishop Jordan to make him look like this?
Well, Larry, most of our people don't know that they either suffer from insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, chronic fatigue syndrome, fatty liver. These are the major culprits that cause, especially folks when they eat, they want to go to sleep immediately, because the body cannot process all the sugar that they've actually consumed. And we as a people, we really consume a lot of starches, we consume a lot of carbs, and these particular things actually convert to sugar. Wow. What I like to do is train the body to convert, instead of using sugar as fuel, I like to help teach people to use food where fat is being used as a fuel and not sugar, because our food becomes, your food becomes your blood becomes your cells become your tissues become your organs, and your organs make up your nervous system, your muscular system.
Repeat, we're writing, repeat.
Oh, you want me to say it again?
Yes, please say it one more time.
So everything you eat, whether it's good or bad, indifferent or ugly, what you call food, the purpose of food is supposed to be fuel. Well, your food becomes your blood. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's say you had a pizza. Well, your blood's going to become pizza. So that might mean that your blood becomes mucus because of the cheese, phlegm, okay, sluggish, high cholesterol, okay. Food becomes your blood, no matter what. And this is why we want to put. Imagine if you put in some Kool-Aid in your car tank. Well, that wouldn't be good, because that's not proper fuel. Okay, you might get down the street. It might not get down the street. But food becomes your blood. blood becomes your cells. Your cells become your tissues. Your tissues actually make up your organs. And your organs make up your systems. Now you have the circulatory system, the respiratory system, the lymphatic system, the endocrine system. Some people have problems in the reproductive area because, again, that food becomes the blood becomes the cells becomes the tissue becomes the organs. The organs make up your system, the nervous system, muscular system, and digestive system. So it's very important that we understand, first of all, why did God give us food? So that we can function, and we need fuel to actually function. A lot of things, what we call food, is not food. And it's not even junk food. Most people say, I'm eating junk food. That's not true, because God never made junk. You're either eating junk or you're eating food that God made.
Wow. And Bishop, can a person get a new organ?
Oh, the body constantly, the liver replaces itself every 3 months. Everything in your body replaces itself, but it depends on what are you putting in. So if you're putting in good material, you're recreating whatever material you put in your body to create new skin, to create new synapses, neurons. It depends on what you're putting in your body. So we can take somebody who basically is suffering with a chronic or degenerative disease. If we change the fuel, it's like having a car. If you put high octane, you get better performance. You put in that real cheap gas, that watered down gas, you're going to get not as much mileage. And your body is more complex than a car. You are wonderfully made and wonderfully designed by God. This is why, and most people are treating their body like a cemetery. If you're throwing in dead stuff.
Wow. Throwing in dead stuff.
Okay, so that's at the root of the digestive. People saying that they are constipated in the chat. They constantly deal with constipation, and that's why they're very sluggish after they eat. Is it true that after you eat, you actually should become filled with energy?
Oh, most definitely. If you're putting in voltage food, electrical cell food, food that is revitalizing your cells, your electrons in your cells, what happens is the cell begins to turn clockwise. If you're putting in stuff that is detrimental, has no life, no enzymes, no sparks of life, it is not electrical, it is dead, you're causing your cells to have glycation, inflammation, and oxidation, and the cell moves counterclockwise. It loses an electron, and this is what causes aging.
Okay, so
And death.
this is
good.
masterful, because when you talk about, the cell has a charge. The cell has a certain amount of water that it needs. It's turning clockwise. When things are improper, it turns counterclockwise. Then you think about the way that the universe moves. You think about all of these. This is crazy. It's like our bodies is connected to the universe and to the earth.
Yes. Universe. We should all be singing the same verse. We should all be in unity. They were all in one accord. When you throw something in the body that it doesn't recognize, such as a hybrid, what we call a hybrid vegetable.
Which give us examples of some hybrid vegetables.
Out of orbit. It throws the cell out of orbit, and it collides into another cell, and it loses a molecule, it loses an electron, it loses oxygen, and the cell begins to be carcinogenic, which simply means a cancerous cell.
So give us some examples of hybrid foods.
Here we go.
Oh,
Here we go. Let me warn you, get a pencil and a paper. I'm going to tell you right now, get a pencil and a paper. Bishop Womack, do you think people eat a lot of...
okay. Most people are eating, I hear people all the time, I'm eating healthy right now, so I'm doing a lot of broccoli. Well, broccoli is a hybrid. That's not an original food from God. Okay?
Oh,
That's
wow.
a hybrid.
Wow.
Okay.
But Dr. Shammah, They tell, I had a trainer one time. It's been a while, as you can look and tell, but I ain't that bad for 41. But my trainer was telling me to eat broccoli.
That's why you look the way you look.
Wait a minute, Bishop. This
No,
ain't
I
right.
didn't mean it. No, you wait. You
Y'all
said-
see how shady that is? That is so shady.
No, you said it was your trainer. No, this is why we got to get.
It's all right. I'm going to get you back. Go ahead.
This is why we got to get
You
skilled.
have to understand. You have to understand. Your trainer might have been trained in teaching you movements, but might had very little hours in the food. Not many. When you look at the education of doctors, they don't have much nutrition at all. About 2 hours of nutrition,
Okay.
and that's it. So I've been doing this all, just about practically all my life. I'm 60. I've been doing this, like I said, over 40 years. So a lot of people are not trained in food. I wake up, I sleep, I eat this. I'm constantly making food for clients, so I'm constantly going to certain places and to the farms and to certain communities where they're having real food. And it's sad because we're really the only group of people on the face of this planet, meaning people of color, people that look like you and I, that we have no idea what our food is. We're eating the Chinese food, we're eating the Italian food, we're eating Greek food.
Whoa.
We don't know what our food is.
I'm telling you.
Whoa. That is a huge statement. A light bulb said, click,
Yeah.
click.
And let Bishop tell you some more hybrid food. Bishop, can you give them 10 different hybrid
Give
foods?
me a minute. This is too much. Hold on for your hybrid food. Did you hear what this guy said? He said, we are the only people
And we are.
that don't know our food, and we're eating everybody else's
Well,
food.
look at our community. We let everybody bring their food into our community, but you can't bring your food into their communities. Every community eat the seed of their nation.
That's good. God, my master. And that ain't nothing but the truth.
Now think about it, Larry. Think about it. If we go to the Muslim community, they have the imam, and the imam has to approve before the food comes to the community, before people can buy it, for that food to be certified, called halal.
Yeah.
And if we go into the Jewish community, they have to go through their particular priest called rabbis that have to approve before the food goes in the community and called kosher. Okay?
Yeah.
And if we go into other cultures as well, I mean, everybody has their priest that approves the food for their community except us. We let everything come in our community, and basically, if you look at all of the stores in our community, they're really food deserts. They don't have any food. Everything is in a package or a can.
But let me
or
ask you
frozen.
this, Dr. Shammah, do you think, and we got to come back to this, but I want to get Master Prophet stirred up. Look, Bernard, if I say this, he's going to get stirred. I'm going to look at him out the corner of my eye. Do you think that is systematic to put that garbage in the black community?
I believe it's intentional. Because it interferes in the cognitive function of the community.
It interferes the cognitive function. We talking about the synapses and all of that regrowing. I caught that. Oh my Lord.
And also,
let me repeat. I believe that it's an intentional that they're not putting food in our community because our children, as well as even our seniors, are eating things, and everybody in our community, we're eating things that are not food. The majority. If I went to probably the average listener that's listening right now, went into their cupboards, the majority, first of all, you shouldn't even have stuff in your cupboard except dishes. We have what we eat in the cupboards. Unless it's a healthy flour. And most people don't have food in their house. We're eating poison. We're eating things that create toxemia, acidosis, things that create arthritis, endometriosis, sugar imbalances. We're not eating food. We're eating poison.
Broccoli, collards. Okay,
There's more.
let's get back to the foods. Do y'all know how much I love broccoli? I can eat a bowl of broccoli and onions.
and look at what it's done.
Okay, Bernard Jordan.
I'm just saying, look what's going.
I'm gonna get you back on the show. Did you hear what he said, Shammah? Did you hear what he said?
I heard him.
Okay, so collards, broccoli, and what else?
Cauliflower is a hybrid.
Okay, good. I don't like that. No way. I hate it. I can't stand that.
Okay. Rice. The Asians gave us white rice, and they eat the real thing. They eat fermented rice. They eat black rice. They eat wild rice. And they sell, you can go to a store and buy.
Wait. Do you know how many times I have went to a Chinese restaurant, and when they go on break, they pour their food from the back.
Oh yeah,
and there'll be a bowl of black rice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they give you the white rice that clogs up your brain and put mucus in your body, stop your circulation.
This is science.
Bernard got something to say?
No. This is why I go to Bishop Womack twice a week. There's a health and wellness community that he has created. And when we look in the scripture, even when Jesus said, if you look in the Bible, when the person was sick, he says, when he healed the leper, he says, go show yourself to the priest, which means the priests were the doctors.
Yeah.
So our bishops, elders, and pastors, we're supposed to be learned men in the pulpits. If our priests do not have science concerning their food, they don't need to be in the pulpit because they are not bringing what real sanctification is. Sanctification is not the length of your skirt or how you dress, it's what you put in your mouth. There's dietary laws that we're supposed to be keeping in order to preserve our body.
Wait, hold on.
Now I learned this from Bishop Womack.
Yeah, y'all are off the charts. This is a great moment we have with black men, the fathers in our community, the elders, black elders in the community. God bless all of our white fathers tonight, but y'all get it. Y'all understand this is for us right now. But this is so, you're really teaching us how we should. Now I ain't gonna do it overnight, but I'm working on some of this. I went 9 years, no red meat. I've done some little stuff. I'm getting back to where I need to be. You said a statement that Shammah taught you. You said that there are certain things that should not be in our mouth. Should peen and puss be in our mouth? We're going to have Dr. Shammah to answer that question, and Bernard Jordan, these married men, because we've seen all of this peen and puss in mouth. I want to know if there are any diseases we can get. Is it actually healthy? And it's so funny, you somebody, the preacher in the pulpit, they shouldn't be in the pulpit. All our gospel artists and preachers, they got 3 necks. They black around the neck. They can't hardly get up 4, 5 stomachs. So we're going to talk about that when we come back from the break. Dr. Shammah, who is on the line, and also Bishop Jordan. God, it's so hard to remember the titles.
Just say Jordan.
Okay, good.
That's what Sharpton said. I just say Jordan.
Okay. We're going to come back. No, but it's y'all commercials. Y'all here, so never mind. We ain't gonna do this commercials. Well, go run that one about his Wednesday nights, because y'all need to be on the phone with Dr. Shammah on Wednesday nights. It's the number 2. We're gonna run that one commercial, and we're gonna be right back. Share right now. Let everybody know. It's about to get good. We're gonna find out if peen and puss in the mouth is part of the dietary laws of God. We'll be right back.
Holistic doctor and educator Shammah Womack can help you discover how to eat your way to healing, get out of debt, improve your well-being, and live the prosperous life. Join him weekly on Wellness Wednesdays on a live conference call for teaching and a free question and answer session. Wellness Wednesdays with the prophetic physician, joined by dialing 888-601-9625. That's 888-601-9625.
All right, we are back. Before we left, can he hear me? Can Shammah hear me? Before we left, you're back in now, Shammah. Before we left and went to the break, I asked, first of all, Jordan said something that was very interesting, but we're going to circle back to that. But I want to know, because this is one of the questions I want to ask tonight. We've seen, I don't know how many videos, Pastor Wilson. Dr. Shammah, I don't know if you've seen the video. Have you seen the video of Pastor Wilson? Okay, well, let me tell you about it.
No, I didn't see it.
Okay, let me tell you. Pastor Wilson is a man of God. And he's a pastor. He's married, but there's this young woman that he was very interested in. Well, she recorded him making a buffet out of her. He was face buried in her crotch, just going down. Okay? I'm going to say it in a very nice way because y'all bishops on the show, so I'm just going to be said in a nice way. Then we also had the video circulating of, over and over these gospel artists, men and women, who are very interested in, just putting meat in their mouth. I mean, they're really enjoying putting peen. So we're talking about oral sex. So are there any, and I know you're a naturopathic doctor and you're supposed to eat God food and all that. I just want to know, is this something that is you were encouraged or you were encouraged to do with certain precaution aside from the STDs? And let's suppose the person don't have any disease. Is that all right to put our mouth on puss and on peen?
Okay. You ready for me now?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Give it to him, Bishop Womack. Give it to him.
Oral sex, well, let me put it this way. Everything is holy if you did it the holy way. Because you should be with your significant other, meaning your wife or your husband. Mm-hmm. Now, there are many experts that say oral sex is not safe sex. Now, let me explain. And it's not safe sex if it is you're doing it with somebody else. It should be husband, wife.
Okay.
It could be safer sex if you're not in a marriage than unprotected genital sex, in that you won't get pregnant from oral sex alone. But unprotected oral sex still carries a whole lot of significant risk of catching or passing on what is called STI. Now, STI is different than an STD.
Okay,
STI is sexually transmitted infection. And an infection can actually turn to a disease, or some infections is just infections. It won't kill you. So because oral sex usually involves sucking or licking your partner's genitals or their anus, you're likely to come into contact with genital fluids or even feces. And a lot of times there's E. coli that gets in people's face. They don't realize. There are a lot of nasty people. And you get E. coli on your tongue. That puts you at risk of many STIs, such as genital warts, genital herpes, chlamydia, gonorrhea, hepatitis B, hepatitis A, hepatitis C, HIV, AIDS, syphilis, pubic lice, which is really bad. So you're more at risk of catching an STI from oral sex if you give, if that's what you're involved in. And usually people that they're doing that outside of marriage, they're doing that more than with one person. That's why you can catch genital warts and herpes and syphilis, because you're not committed to one partner. So I'm going back to the same thing I did with food. You call it oral sex, some people call it eating out, etc. You still got to do it God's way. You got to go to God's original plan, God's original purpose, and none of these diseases and things won't come on you. That's it. You got to do it God's way.
Lord Jesus, I mean, I think you probably just done more for most people that were listening just now. Probably done more for those people than any preacher that ever told you, don't do this, don't do that. It really make you more cognizant, and then you can probably make better choices. So right now, Father God, I ask that you will touch Pastor Wilson, clean his throat out, and also wash out his mouth, his gums, because he got something according to what Dr. Shammah said. Amen and amen. All right, so okay, all right, let's get back to the hybrid foods, and then we're going to get into the other conversation. I don't know, your brain and your mind, Dr. Shammah, is totally amazing. I want to get back into the hybrid foods, but before we do, tell us one more time so make sure we have the website so we know where to get these voltage foods, this book, Empowering Cells and Boosting Health Through Your Diet. Where can we get that from once again?
They can call 748-0090. I'll say it again, 973-748-0090. And if nobody picks up, speak clearly your name and telephone number, or just email me, bishop@bishopwomack.com, and we'll get in contact with you. Please leave your telephone number, bishop@bishopwomack.com. And actually, there are two books that could be very helpful. It's my Healthy Eating Cookbook and Voltage Foods. I actually wrote over 150 books, but those two books would actually help someone with Voltage Foods. It's called Voltage Foods and the Healthy Eating Cookbook, those two.
Okay, got it. We got that. Okay, now hybrid foods, and then we're gonna do the hybrid foods, and then the last thing we'll do, because I tasted your that cheeseburger.
I gave him the burger you gave me, the heart burger, the turkey burger. Sunchoke burger.
That burger,
That's from Africa.
Let me ask
That
you.
comes out of Africa. That's our
That's
food.
good.
That's our food.
My body liked it.
Every
part.
If you stayed on
And
that,
it's not meat, it's meatless.
It's meatless.
You can make it taste like meat, but
No,
it's meatless.
that tasted like a burger.
so watch this. If you eat the food of your people, it would regulate your body and system. When you eat the food of your oppressor, it shortens your lifespan. And what happens is we are one of the only people that continue to eat the foods that our oppressor fed us in slavery, because we've never gotten the science of what our food should be, and we have the shortest life expectancy here in America.
That's true. And I don't know why we don't like science. We don't even like science when it even comes to our spirituality. We don't like the stars. We don't like to understand the heavens. And you guys, that can be a whole nother show with having you guys when it comes to that's a whole nother show. I'm going to leave that alone. Okay, so
We've been taught to hate ourselves and to hate our priests, and this is why we haven't gotten any further. We actually are still eating slave food to this day.
wait a minute. In every way, shape, and form of the word. Not just the food, but I think for many people and for our people, that we have been moved from the plantation to the church.
Well, let me just say something else, and this is my spiel on why we got to shut the word network off. Because we have priests on the word network that is not dropping no science, and it funds our oppressor. But why is a person like Bishop Womack not put on the word network for free just to give the science to his people? You want to know why? Because they want his voices mute. They want Jordan's voices mute.
Yeah.
And this is why we've got to understand, what is the plantation? It secures WP, white privilege, and it funds our own oppression as a people. And this is why we've got to begin to control our destiny, name our destiny. And I can't even begin to tell you the people that Bishop Womack has helped that have walked away. And what we have to say it this way, allegedly.
Okay.
They came to him, he had AIDS. When they left him, the doctor couldn't find the AIDS.
Right. Same thing with cancer.
Cancer, I had a sister-in-law. She couldn't have children. And she went on a program that Bishop Womack had. She passed the fibroids and had 7 children after that.
God
Am I right, Bishop?
Yeah.
And he don't even talk about this. You got.
How can he talk about himself? It's up to the community to talk about its own priests.
Yeah.
But what happens is we have gatekeepers in our community, and as prophets, we got to begin to call them out. And every high place I'll bring down.
Oh, my God, my God. Oh, that is amazing. Now, the food, because I noticed one of the things, my favorite pastimes is eating. And when I met my mentor about a year ago, that was one of our pastimes. But now he doing this stuff now to where we can't go eat nowhere. He always got bags and lunch boxes and pails and wagons full of Dr. Shammah stuff. So today, I decided to taste it, and it's really good. And I've also tasted his. Oh, he gave me some nuts for my nuts. Let me explain. I know it's not nice to say, but it's what it was. He's prophetic with his doctor naturopathic anointing stuff and preventive medicine. Cause I was just talking to him just lightly, and I went to the compound, and this is what we were doing, getting advertising, trying to figure out how we're gonna do the advertisement, about what they do, and he said, I think you have a circulation problem. I said, oh yeah, 'cause my feet be cold. I keep heat on my feet all the time, and he said, not just that, but I'm talking about waist down. I was like, I know you're not talking about my peen. I know God is not showing you my business. And I'm gonna tell you, I don't mind being transparent.
He's a prophet.
In 2012, and I told people that are very close to me, and you know this, I noticed. Like sometimes I couldn't feel it down there. I said, where is it at? Is it still there? And I was like, it's like it would lose all, like I couldn't feel it. And it concerned me for a little while. The first time that happened was in 2007. And then it came back again in 2012. So when he said that, I was like, okay, hold on. He must really got the gift to be able to look at you and discern what's going on in your body. So he gave me these nuts. Ladies and gentlemen, I put the nut in my mouth. That's the only time I ever had a nut in my mouth, just so everybody would know. Except that time when I molested my little boy. But anyway, I put the nut in my mouth. And I got so, wait a minute, Bishop Jordan is doing the Dante. Look, I put the nuts in my mouth. And when I put the nuts in my mouth, it felt like somebody had lit a match inside of me. It felt like, I said, what? I said, I started sweating. I said, what in the world is going on? And I like spicy food, but this was a different kind of burn. What did you do to me? What was that I ate? And they're really good to the taste, but they absolutely work. Talk to us about that product. I know it's probably going to sell out after the night.
It's when I perceived you wasn't getting enough blood flow, blood circulation, I knew you needed something called tiger nut. Those are the nuts that they have in Africa that basically, if you just need a little extra help, men, and a little bit extra boost of testosterone, you actually just take a handful, and you don't need a lot. Take some tiger nuts, and it actually sends circulation throughout your body. First of all, to the brain, and once you get that circulation brain, it goes into the lower parts. So that's real simple.
But why was it so hot? So they come out, they just come hot like that? These was
no,
hot.
I actually put a little bit of what's called capsicum. Capsicum is actually hot. I gave you 44,000 units, heat units. It can go as high as 180. But I actually used that as almost like a seasoning, so to speak, and that's where you felt that heat from. But the nuts actually are full of testosterone. The capsicum actually helps us open up the capillary so that you get nice blood flow.
Brilliant.
Because most deficiencies and sicknesses and inflammation and glycation oxidation is a blockage anyway. Arthritis is a blockage. High cholesterol, it's a blockage. Most people don't realize they have blockages, and we have to unblock the blockage to get good circulation, good assimilation, good relaxation, and then good elimination of toxins and waste.
Okay, so it sounds like to me what we're eating has the power either to kill us or heal us. So the hybrid food, number one, we discussed tonight is collards, broccoli. Tell us some more hybrid foods.
Okay, so I hear a lot of people they're getting carrot juice. Well, carrots, the majority, I would say 95% of the carrots that's out there are hybrids. There's some real carrots, but most people don't know. Corn, that's a real famous one. That's like in some of everything. I remember years ago going with my wife down to Disney, and they took us around and showed us the corn of the future was all going to be hybrids. And we're consuming so much corn, which is also we're consuming sugar from corn and corn syrup that's contributing to diabetes. Number one, not just because of the sugar, but because most of the corn that people buy today is not real corn. It's a hybrid. Most of the melons today, you can buy, you remember back in the 60s and 70s, we bought watermelon. We were spitting out black seeds, brown seeds, and white seeds. Mm-hmm. Now you can go and buy a watermelon, and they tell you it's seedless. Well, that's totally against God's law. God said, I want you to get everything that bears a seed. See, there's supposed to be a seed in everything. He said it should have a seed, and it should bear a seed, so you can take the seed and replant it to reproduce again. So carrots, squashes, melons without seeds. They have cucumbers now without seeds. These are hybrids, people. Broccoli. There's some cabbages that are actually hybrids. There's so many hybrids out there. Tomatoes. There used to be a time where you could take a tomato, you hold it, and you see all the juice. Now you can take a tomato and bounce it like a ball because it is not real. So we're eating a lot of things that's actually creating people almost to be a zombie nation.
But hold on, Dr. Shammah.
Common sense is not even common anymore because we're eating foods that are not real.
But Shammah, carrots, the doctor said to eat for the eyes.
Look, the doctor will also recommend radiation therapy, nuclear medicine, chemotherapy that will actually kill you. And the doctor will also recommend to you a prescription that will actually, it has about 30 different side effects. In his own book, it tells you the PDF, the PDR, the Physician's Death Reference Manual. So why would you take a medication that has over 30 side effects, supposed to help your kidneys, but it's killing your liver and making you blind, and then making you impotent?
There's so much. There's literally hundreds of years of education that our people have, and science and knowledge that we do not have.
And yet we talk about the anointing, and so this is where my concern and stand is at. We have food deserts in our community. I want you to look in the urban community, and that's why when we're looking at this whole thing about these urban areas, how far do our people have to travel before they can find a plant or real food in the store? Mm-hmm. Because what has happened is that we have begun to become, if I could say it like this, carnivores, where we go in the stores and eat a bunch of carbohydrates, but we are not getting plant-based food. And because we are not eating from the plant, it is destroying our life. So we have food deserts in our community, food mirages, and it is killing us softly. And then our priests are not educated enough to give the people their dietary laws, just like what Bishop Womack just says. You have the rabbi that is telling you what is kosher. You have the imam that is telling you the foods that their community should be eating. You have the Indians, the Brahmins, that are handling the stuff with their foods. Everybody knows the food they're supposed to eat. The African American church has not taken a stand concerning its own health to say, let us begin to look at how can we live as long as the average age expectancy of an Asian is 89 years of age. Let's move our needle from 75 or 76 years of age to 89 and 90. We can do that if our priests will stop preaching foolery to the people, and we stop greenlighting and giving people national voices where they're getting overexposure, but they're underdeveloped. So what you got to ask the question, why is a person like Bishop Womack, we're hearing this wisdom, he's not on television for free. But in a few weeks, I'm going to name you the people that's on TV for free, and we got to ask the question, why were they greenlit? And why are voices that are made silent in our community kept silent?
Yeah, especially the voices that are being greenlit and put on places like the Plantation Network for absolutely free. and skinny version and probably fat version. No, he was skinny guy on TV. George Bloomer got to be responsible for that because he helped get a lot of them people on that station for Kevin Adele free. And a lot of these people aren't good for our community, which he probably learning that now.
They couldn't even stand with Bloomer.
Yeah.
See, this is there's no loyalty in the community. And so we've got to begin to, let me just say this. Donald Trump is giving the black community a gift.
Which is?
The gift is Donald Trump will reveal who will not lead us in the future.
Agreed. A great gift. Because with Dr. Shammah, the science that he's giving, you have given a lot of science. You brought science to the prophetic. And these are not the things that we are hearing in our church. When I scroll on Sunday morning, because I go to your church. I ain't been to Shammah's yet, but I don't be going to these niggas' churches because there ain't no need for me to go. I scroll across there, they ain't saying nothing. That what they're saying is foolery. And then people like that are put in these pulpits, and our people are literally suffering financially, emotionally, even health-wise. And they're really horrible examples for us.
Listen, when I went to, Bishop Womack and I, we go back about 38 years. Is that right, Bishop Womack?
Yes.
We go back about 38 years we've been knowing each other. His father brought me to the church. And one of the first meals I had with him was his father, before he passed, and his father was not even sick or anything, his death was sudden to me because, he was here today and then gone. And so we have history together. I've had the privilege of marrying Bishop Womack and his wife.
Okay,
I prophesied at his wedding about his children that would be born and all of that type of stuff. So we have a history here. But getting back to what I wanted to share is that with all of this wisdom that God is beginning to bring about in the community, we need Bishop Womack's voice, and there are a lot of voices like this that are relevant, and if we do not do something quickly, and we're beginning to see it, they're now calling Alzheimer's. I was doing a study. They would say Alzheimer's is type 3 diabetes, and they said when a person turns around about 70-something years old. We had people coming to our church from Columbia University. They said 1 out of 3 Americans will have Alzheimer's. So that's like 1, 2, 3, Alzheimer, 1, 2, 3, Alzheimer. It's an epidemic, and it says the largest epidemic is in the black community. Now, you can ask Bishop Womack about that. He'll tell you about what that is all caused by.
Okay, what foods is that caused by, Bishop? Cancer, diabetes. These are two of the leading things that's killing the black community.
If we keep starch and blood out of our diet, we will avoid that detrimental disease. All disease is a mucus. It comes from a mucus-forming origin because we put too much starch. Actually, we should have no starch and blood. Now, people might say, well, I don't eat blood. Every time you eat meat, you're eating blood. It's blood in the meat, okay? And starch. That's how you create a disease. And then you create catarrh, which is the thickest mucus that actually hovers bacteria, anaerobic cells that basically don't have oxygen. So if we begin to cut out the slave food and go back to God's food, because God never recommended his whole dietary laws from Genesis to Revelation. You don't see no starch, okay? And you don't even see the blood. Actually, that's supposed to be sacrificed unto God. We actually break covenant when we actually take the blood that's supposed to be actually sacrificed unto God. We're consuming blood and we're consuming starch, and it takes electricity out of the cell. In order to have electricity in your cell, you need carbon and copper. That's how you create electricity. carbon and copper. Well, when you eat foods that are taken, and a lot of times people think it's the quality of the vegetable. It's not the quality of the vegetable nor the fruit. It's the quality of the soil, because the soil is where you actually get your carbon, and it's where you get your copper. All right. This is why the Bible talks about let the ground or let the earth rest after harvest. You're not supposed to just plant immediately in that. You're supposed to go to another area and plant and let it rest, because it needs to revitalize extra minerals, trace minerals, the amino acid profile, and carbon and copper, so that we are eating foods that are producing electricity in our cells and not death. That's how we get diabetes, because we're eating things that basically, everything you eat has sugar. Everything you eat, even vegetables, have sugar. So we're just filled up with sugar instead of using fat as fuel. And that's why they put a name on it. It's really in the Bible. God talks about it in the Bible. But we put a name on it, call it ketogenesis. Like, this is something new. It's not new at all. God gave this diet plan way back in Genesis. So now they have keto, which is basically using fat as fuel. That's been around.
And let me just say this, and what Bishop Womack just dropped, that science about carbon and copper. This is why we as the church, and we in America is supposed to be 70% Christians, but as long as our bishops are and leaders of the church are ignorant of science, now there's certain movements that are getting into creation care, getting back into the care of the planet, talking about global warming, because what has happened, capitalism has abused the soil by overworking the planet, overworking the soil. So what happens is when, and the Bible gave man, part of our first anthropology is to have dominion over the earth and subdue it. So we have a responsibility for creation care. And as long as we stop caring for the creation, we have now did a sin against our body, because it is from creation that our body gets fueled.
And that reminds me of during the prophetic college when we talked about the commons, how everybody in the community should have everything in common. And you talked about how these prophets come into these churches, taking up all this money, and then they take all the money out of the commons and say then, and then another prophet comes and do the same thing, and how they're depleting the commons.
Yes, and that's why we have situations that they call it gentrification. And since 1949, it was this urban renewal, but in reality, what it was Negro removal. And so now we have lost our communities. And every time we get something that is done big, whether they buy our celebrities, bring them into the community, all of a sudden, all of the real estate around the community goes up, and Negroes are moved out because they cannot afford the prices. So we've got to get leaders on the front line that begin to say 25% of these homes or 50% of these homes will be owned by us, by the original stakeholders in this community, because we are going to grow together, because there is no freedom. See, one of the things we've got to understand as Black people, salvation was never supposed to be individually. It was supposed to be universal. It's supposed to be corporately. So when the Bible says, Joshua says that for him and his household, amen, that shall be saved. It was household salvation. What we moved away from, we moved into the prosperity message, and we got rich individually, but we did not get rich corporately as a people. Yeah. So this is the crime and the sin of the mega church movement and the prosperity movement, is that we've never done nothing for the community, and as a result, you fix the one man in the pulpit's pocket, but you created Black lives outside of the pulpit, because you're not speaking to the social issues of your community and of your day. You've become irrelevant prophets.
One of the things that I noticed about you, and this is, and you guys, if this was not true, I wouldn't be saying it, and if it ever becomes not true, I'm going to say it. And I love Bernard the person, and which makes me honor everything else, but I'm always tell the truth. What I notice about you, everybody who connects to you and start following your mentorship, they increase. Now, there are a lot of people connect to you and just try to take, but I'm talking about the ones that connect with the mindset of learning your spirit and begin to put some things in place. Here in Atlanta, these mega churches that we have, when you talk about the center of the mega church, 50% of the people that go to church in America go to a mega church.
Yeah.
So this is very interesting, and probably why I'm probably going to stay employed for another few years, because it's been done wrong. Because in those mega churches in these communities, they're in poor communities, and once the church, if it does really well, what ends up happening is, like you said, and which may happen with Tyler Perry buying Fort McPherson, everything round it, now the price of it goes up. And so all the black people have to move somewhere else, but they still come to the church.
Unless there is a prophet or a leader in that community that stand for the poor of that community. See, Jesus came and his first mission was to preach the gospel to the poor.
Yeah.
Our first mission is to uplift one another. I'm always pulling young men and young women that we're helping to get educated, pulling them up one at a time. Bishop Womack, he does something that is not talked about, but he takes care of the widows of his flock. Wow. Is that right, Bishop Womack?
Yes, that's major. We're doing something this Sunday as well. That's major for me. I believe that actually that is scripture, but it is not adhered to. It is not followed. If anything, the widows are ignored, and even widows of bishops and pastors. As soon as the bishop actually deceased or makes the transition, of the pastor, they just ready to kick her out and send her and give her nothing. You know, I'm definitely not for that. I'm for what you want to hear me always refer back. What does God say? And that's what I'm for. Call me old-fashioned, whatever. I find the word of God is yea, amen. So it is, and that's how I'm going to live.
Yeah.
And we're going to take care of it.
Yeah, and both of us left a movement as a result of them not taking care of the widow. We couldn't believe it.
Shammah was in that?
Oh yeah, we were in it together. So, but see the sad part about it is we were shocked when we were having discussion with certain.
I'm gonna say this. I left first. I was like, Bishop, did they right? You remember?
Yes,
Bishop, did they
that's
right?
true.
I said, I'm out of here.
But hold on. So you mean to tell me that the story that I did with Lady Brown is really how we all end up getting connected?
Yeah, Lady Brown put all of us together.
Wow.
Should I say this? The day of the funeral, something hit my spirit.
Okay.
The day of that funeral, something hit my spirit. Archbishop was looking for me. I left. I was outside. I said to him, I'm out of here, not coming back. He was like, come inside. I said, no, something ain't right, Bishop. And
That's
I
true.
left. Did not, Bishop?
That's true. That's the truth. He left and his people.
Hey, I gotta get in contact with her, because I don't even know what's happening with her. Now, I do know some stuff, but I haven't talked to her now about 2 months, and I want to know what's going on with that.
We've got to be very concerned today, because if you watch this, if you mess with the women and the children, it's the women and the children that we're supposed to be the caretakers of. If you mess with the women and the children, you have lost the whole sense of community.
Yeah.
And this is why, see, even in prison, watch this. If you mess with women out here and you go to prison, the prisoners have higher ethics than the church. Because even the prisoners know you should be punished for what you have just done.
Yeah.
In the church, we tolerate pedophiles and individuals that violate the codes of ethics. And listen, when you got people in the pulpit having children, it looks just like the plantation. We were brought to America as black men to impregnate women we had no covenant with. This is a covenantal situation. And so when we look at it, why are we sitting here? And even in Africa, let's say in Africa, if they had 10 children, because I minister a lot to two of the kings in Africa, but one king particularly. Every one of those every one of those individuals, he had children by. He married those women.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when you begin to look at the scripture, if you bet it, you wed it.
Yes, sir.
If you can't wed it, then don't bet it.
I mean, how simple is that? This is clear. Okay, so I know you guys are like, oh my God, I want to call in, and if Dr. Shammah says okay for 15 more minutes, I'm gonna open up the line. I'm gonna let you call in. Well, I want your question. You have 1 minute to you ask your question, then hang up, and he's gonna answer it. Okay. So I'm gonna take 15 minutes. Is that all right, Dr. Shammah?
Yes, fine.
Okay, we're gonna open up the lines now. You say your name, ask your question. I see them in there. I couldn't get all of them, so go ahead and fill up the number 646-787-8174, 646-787-8174, 646-787-8174. This knowledge and wisdom we've heard from Dr. Shammah concerning our bodies and our mind. Oh, I forgot. I got one question to ask you before we open up the lines. How does secrets affect our health?
Oh boy.
Oh God, here we go.
So
Get your pen and paper, saints.
Let me say it like let me take it from here first. First of all, the Bible says, "Confess your faults one to another."
Okay.
Now you need to qualify who you're confessing your faults to. This is a major challenge with people of color. We're so used to being owned. We're so used to being lorded over. We're so used to being mastered over that we don't know how to take ownership of secrets. So we use secrets to actually cover our nakedness. Okay? And this is really important. Your cells in your body are always eavesdropping on your inner dialogue.
Ho. Write that in there. The cells, the cells in your body are always eavesdropping on your inner dialogue. Bishop, write this down.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? Just for you tuning in, y'all go ahead and share the link. All y'all folk on your stuff need to make sure you're watching on this show tonight, because they only like it when I'm doing, the trending topics. But this here is good for you. My question was, what happens when we have a secret that we bury within ourselves? Probably have some conflict we're not confronting. What is happening? What happens in our body? He said that your cells, God about it, are always eavesdropping on the internal dialogue that is going on. So you may be hiding it, but your body knows.
Watch this. Bishop Womack can look in your eyes and can tell if you're in adultery.
Wait.
Yeah, he does that. I've seen him. He does it with iridology.
Oh my God! You know what's so funny? I went to this. It was a massage person, but it wasn't really a massage. And she was able to. She knew I had went through a divorce. She knew I had filed bankruptcy. She knew I struggled with headaches or something like that by just in my body, my muscles.
Mm-hmm. Bishop Womack, what would you say about that?
Your body is a prophetic voice. And most of the time, we don't pay attention to it. When you have symptoms,
hold on. I have to keep stopping him.
See, this is a school of the prophets. See,
your body is your prophetic voice.
It's a prophetic messenger.
It's your prophet. Y'all need to type that in there. He's just spitting it out.
It's a messenger.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, your body's a messenger. But we don't pay attention to it. Pain is a message. Something's wrong. Your body's saying fix it. Your head, you get a headache. Your body saying fix it. Your body, your body is so wonderfully designed by it is the masterpiece of God. But we have neglected to not study the body, nor we don't even study the word anymore. So of course we're not going to understand the body. But and again, let me go back to what I was saying. Your cells, they're always eavesdropping on your inner dialogue, your conversation, because most of us live in our head, and we don't live in our life. So when you're not living in your life and you're living in your head, which is not the place to actually live, I like what Shakespeare says. Shakespeare says we need to give grief words. We need to be able to get the poison out.
Must give grief words. We got to get the poison out. Must give the grief words.
Yeah.
Got to get the poison out.
Yeah.
You
So,
got to
Marco,
give it.
you
You
hear
got to
that?
give it language. Now watch this. If
You got to give it language.
you got to give it language. Now you should hear. He won't. He probably shouldn't do it on this. You need to bring him back on another where he can talk to you about tattoos.
I heard this mess this man was saying. I knew this was a trap. To have my mentor here, he done called me fat 4, 5, 11 times. And now he want to talk about my tattoos. But I'm gonna go ahead and let
No.
I'm gonna go ahead and let Shammah tell it.
No, we had. But getting back to the word of God, there's a reason why there shouldn't be no markings in your flesh.
I'm gonna let Shammah tell it. I don't even
But I know.
want you don't touch me no more.
We
Look, Shammah, I'm gonna let you tell me.
No, you don't have to
Bishop
go-
is enjoying this too much.
No, that could be for another. You need to bring him back for another one on
I
that.
just want to hear. Just let people hear about it.
No,
Let people,
it might be too convicting.
Bishop, this is my show.
I know it's your show, but it might be too much. Too much light
look,
too soon will blind
Look,
you.
y'all see, I get to say, this is my show.
And that
Thank
it
you very
is.
much.
I
Now,
submit,
Dr.
I
Shammah.
submit.
Look, Dr. Shammah,
Yes.
go ahead and tell us a little bit.
Okay,
30
so-
seconds about tattoos.
Your body's a prophetic messenger, right? When you're free, because secrets. When I'm talking about secrets, there's some things that you can have secrets, but when I talk about secrets, I'm talking about sins, trespasses, transgressions, and iniquities. These are all different. A sin is missing God's mark. Trespass is you passing over a line that you shouldn't pass that you know. Transgression is you choose. You don't care. You choose to cross the line intentionally. Iniquity is you willingly lawless without fear of punishment. You know you got those business, but you done made it a practice. That's iniquity. So when you keep that to yourself, the Bible says the secret things belong to the Lord. These sins, you need to give them over to the Lord, or you need to go before your priest, or you need to go before a bona fide, qualified prophet and confess your faults one to another. Because if you don't, your cells begin to vibrate wrong, and health is when every cell in the body sings the song of the Lord. I'm going to say it again. Health is when every cell in the body sings the song of the Lord. And what is that? I have the life of God in me. That's what just your cells, when greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. But a lot of times, we got in us sin, trespasses, transgressions, iniquities, and then what happens is that we begin to introduce things that keep us separate from being free, such as shame, fear, and control. So a lot of people of color have a shame-based personality, and we have broken our covenant with God when we need to break the covenant with shame, and that's about exposing the secret, exposing the lie, exposing the sin, the trespasses, the transgression, and the iniquity. Holding a secret, and a lot of families do this, it's a burden. It causes you to actually be imbalanced in your epinephrine, your melatonin, your thyroxine, your cortisol levels. your dopamine, your progesterone, your oxytocin, your leptin, your growth hormone, your ghrelin, your serotonin, your endorphins, et cetera, Get the poison out. Not just the food, the thought. Not just the thought, the silence. And we suffer in silence.
Oh my God.
You got it?
Yes, I got it. But you ain't do the tattoo. This man is brilliant.
And this-
You're going to have to do a part 2. You got to come to Atlanta.
Yeah, and this is why it was important that you're not bullied into silence. Because see, when you're bullied into silence, you don't have no voice. You block up your 5th chakra, which is your throat. A lot of people that have throat problems is because their voice is stuck.
Some of them probably don't know what no chakra is and the root chakra and all that, but we'll bring y'all back for all of that science. One last question. Okay, we're gonna open up line for questions, but I want you to do the question about what happens when you put a tattoo on the body. Bishop told me gladly with sparkle in his eye. And I think Bishop Bernard Jordan loved to rebuke. I just believe he does. But it's been a blessing because he has challenged me in so many different ways. And I would say to anybody that want to take their person and their life and their business to the next level is to get in relationship with Bishop Jordan, starting with getting in relationship with Zoe Ministries, and just begin to create a covenant so that then you can get that relationship with him. And same thing with Dr. Shammah. They're 2 brilliant black married fathers. All right, now, what happens? After my question, we're going to open up the lines for 15 minutes. Give me your name, your question, and then hang up so you can answer it. All right, what happens when we get a tattoo on our body?
You want to know from me?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I'm not really. Throw your hormones off, and it's a poison that just continues. It's perpetual in your body.
Okay.
If you'll never function 100% at the best level of functioning, even on your good day, because you actually have a picture of poison that is actually going through your bloodstream.
All right.
Toxicity.
That's enough. Thanks. All right, now let's go ahead and open up. Let's go ahead and open up the lines. We have Dr. Shammah. I told you his name sounded like tons. That's powerful. Dr. Shammah is on our line tonight, and he will answer your question. Also, I have my mentor up here, the Bishop, Master Prophet, Ambassador, Archbishop.
Now, Ambassador, you add, but this is your show, so I'll take it.
Oh, you done been all over them other countries and prophesying kings, and they prophesy their money, and you a real ambassador now. Why did you buy them?
Okay, let's stop. Let's move on.
All right, I don't want to get you in no trouble, but ain't nobody. Anyway, all right. So let's open up the lines. Are you ready, Dr. Shammah?
I am.
All right, let's go. Caller ending in 8997. What is your name? Where you calling from? And give me your question.
Good evening, Dr. Reid and Bishop. My question is, I suffer from, I was diagnosed with depression, and I stopped taking my medicine maybe about a year ago, and I wanted to know if the foods that we're eating, certain foods that we eat is connected to continually to keep us depressed. Because I want to come out of this. I'm starting to feel a lot of the anxiety that I used to have when I first got diagnosed, and I stopped taking it because I'm trying to lean on God more to help me cope with situations. So my question is, are there specific foods, or are there foods that we could, start eating to help us, come out of depression or change our mindset on how we feel about ourselves?
Okay. first thing I would say, if you're looking for God to help you, always find a man that's connected to God to help you out. Someone who basically, whatever area you need, find a specialist in that area of someone connected to God. Now, I would highly recommend that you get a wellness inventory, and I heard you say suffering from depression, also a psychological analysis as well, because all sickness doesn't start in the body. It starts basically psychologically and spiritually, and I would like to actually go through a series of questions of when did the depression start, et cetera, what are you depressed about? Those are called issues in the tissues, and that's the same thing we were talking about secrets. When people have secrets, they hold issues in the tissues and they manifest in the body, because the body is nothing but a habit. So there's things that we practice that we don't realize is a practice, and I would like to find out why are you practicing that. There's a scripture that says the curse causeless does not come. So that whatever's going on right now, it didn't just happen. It's not because of old age. So a wellness inventory is something I would recommend. Psychological analysis and profile, these are things that I do. And if you want to know the foods, actually you can get both of my books, Voltage Foods, as well as the Healthy Eating Cookbook, that will give you a list of what to do, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack that can help you in that area.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. Thanks so much for calling in with your question. So you got a book to buy, Voltage Foods, and what's the other one, Bishop Womack?
Healthy Eating Cookbook.
Healthy Eating Cookbook. Let me write that down. And Healthy Eating Cookbook. So you can eat your way out of depression. Don't that sound good, caller? Oh, she hung up? Okay. All right. So you can actually hang up after they ask that question, Kendall. All right. Next caller. Caller ending in 0313. What's your name? Where you calling from? And ask your question.
Hi, my name is Teen, calling from South Carolina, and I have a question. First of all, greetings to all of you gentlemen. I thank God for this discussion. My question is regarding the female reproductive organs,
Okay.
namely the ovary, or the uterus. Okay, so I have fibroid and fibroid tumors, and I heard before that it's coming from excess waste, namely animal protein. So I'm wondering if that is the truth, and if it is the truth, how do we get rid of the fibroid through healthy eating and proper supplements or whatever?
Okay. So first of all, let me ask you, do you have any children?
I have two. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And were you looking or thinking about another child after those two?
No.
I can't hear you.
No, I'm not.
Okay, I'm not talking about now. I'm talking, when did you first get diagnosed of having a fibroid? How many years ago?
About 12 years ago.
Okay, so
And
let's go back 12 years
grown.
ago. 12 years ago, were you thinking or contemplating that you talked to the relationship thought of maybe having another child? Or go back 12 years.
Go back 12 years, we were finished,
Yeah.
my husband and I were finished having children.
Okay. Now, usually when a person has a fibroid, the fibroid is there because it's supposed to be another child there. That's why I asked you that. And if you really sit and think, you might have been contemplating that. You just might have took it out of your mind. But most people have a fibroid. It's because there's supposed to be a child there. And now that they got older, they are not looking for a child because maybe you feel older, etc. And what happens is usually when you have a fibroid and then it's growing in large centimeter size, you start eating foods that have a lot of estradiol and estrogen, and you need to be actually using more things that have progesterone. You can go to your health food store and get something called wild yam cream and rub that in the area where the fibroid is, wild yam cream. But I would, again, do just the same thing I said to the other young lady, do a wellness inventory. That's something that you don't even have to come to my office. do a wellness inventory, psychological profile as well. But I don't really believe in just dealing with the body, because health is dealing with the body, wellness is dealing with the being. And when you get to the source of the being, you'll find out why the person's health is the way that they are.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much for so make sure. But Dr. Shammah, some people are saying it's hard to get in contact with you, get apart, and get into your wellness. What you call that? Wellness check? I think it's what it's called. I think it's what you said I got to do. It can even be mailed to you, but you prefer if we come to where you are or something like that. Where do they sign up for wellness checks?
Okay. Now, every Wednesday, I have a Wednesday wellness call, and they can call in at 7 p.m. Eastern. They can ask questions just like they're doing now. And I actually take my time and teach and take my time. I open up the lines. People ask all kinds of questions. It's every Wednesday at 7 p.m. They can call. It's a toll-free number. You don't need a PIN number. It's 888-601-9625. That's 888-601-9625 to come on the Wednesday wellness call. All right, and then they can either email me, bishop@bishopwomack.com. And one of the reasons why it takes me a while to get in contact with people is because it's me and my wife. I'm looking for people to train. I just started a new program where I'm training 12 people in a special program, another 6 people in another program. But it's very hard to find a student or a protege, somebody who really wants to learn, because you have to be committed. So we're not I wouldn't say a large operation like a mega church or a hospital, but we're very personal. And when you get to know us, people know that we deal with you on a personal level. Everything is customized, individualized. That's our specialty.
All right. Thanks so much for calling in. One of the things I do want to say to people, doing this type of work, just imagine the different people that will come to you just asking the question. Somebody who probably eating bad, ain't doing what they're supposed to do. I got fibroids, or I got something, what I supposed to do, what food I supposed to eat. And think you say, okay, go eat some tomatoes that was grown in South Carolina over there behind the barn. And oh, good, let me go eat that. But what I'm realizing when it comes to doing soul work, body work, or any type of reformative work, it's not a quick fix.
No, it isn't.
And one of the things that, I'm not saying you're doing this, Dr. Shammah, but I'm going to tell you what I do. I used to always have my prices and my accessibility for everybody. And what I started realizing, I was spending a whole lot of energy with people who wanted quick fixes and didn't want to invest and really didn't value what I was doing. So I jacked my prices up. And the only people I get now are people I don't have to war with when it comes to how they're supposed to do, in their life changes they make, because they really value what they're getting. So some of you that's saying, I sent him an email, he emailed me back. First of all, have a lot of intention about what you want. Are you looking for a quick fix? Are you really ready for a life change? Are you willing to, if it takes that, getting in the plane, flying to where he's at, and really going through all those evaluations? I went through all those rooms and things of that nature.
Well, one of the things you'll discover, Larry, and what you got a hold of is your value. You got what your value was, and you started charging. You didn't jack your price up. You got what your value was.
Okay.
Because a false balance is an abomination. And so what you call yourself doing a service for the people, you create an abomination in your life. Therefore, you got to be compensated accordingly. But when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Yeah.
And when you understand a lot of traditions, a good teacher is not easy to come by, nor is a good teacher, even if you look at some of the metaphors in fairy tales and stuff. Usually the mentor or the guide is not easy to come by. But when you're fully ready and totally committed, you'll find the guide, and the guide will be waiting for you there. So when you are serious about your health, you won't even need an address. to get to the teacher. You're going to appear, and the teacher will appear there with you. I know this sounds very mystical or metaphysical.
I get it.
But that's the way life works.
It is.
But when you're not ready, when it's like a quick fix, it's going to always be with outside of reach. And if I can so say, tonight, we know that you're passing through a number of things and a number of circumstances. And I wanted to say to the LRLs, it's important that if you've been blessed by this show, you're blessed by what Larry Reid, as to who he is in the community, because he touches a community of people. Now watch this. When you touch a community of people, you're going to upset another community of folks. That's just the balance of nature. And I'm going to ask everyone, if you've been blessed, I want you just to do something simple as $3, right? If you say, I've been blessed. If this show has touched my life in a way, just do $3 to LarryReidLive. Just do $3. Also, if it hasn't been a blessing, then you just simply won't do the $3. And you can do that by using his CashApp or Zelle, however it is that you need to make contact. But if every supporter would support you, you will begin to have the kind of representation and team that is needed for you to stay relevant in the community. We must keep voices. Now watch this. There is a lot of people I don't agree with, but they are necessary in our community. Like for instance, there was a time in my life that I didn't agree with Reverend Sharpton. When my brother got killed, Reverend Sharpton called me and said, "You need any help?" I said, "No, we're going to do it this is what I said, we're going to do it the correct way. We got it handled." And little did I know that there was a system that was broken. And it wasn't until after my brother got killed by police officers that I began to see the relevance of National Action Network and Reverend Al Sharpton. And then we connected back then about 30 years ago and been joined ever since. And I've prophesied in his life about a lot of different things. So there are people that are in your community, I would like to say it like this, you'll understand them better by and by. But there are individuals that are necessary in the community. And so I want to tell those of you to start supporting. And then if $3 is, you say, that's an insult because I would take more than that to Starbucks, then put a 0 behind the 3 and make it 30. Or put a 1 in front of the 3 and make it 13. Whatever it is at the level of your faith, support Larry Reid Live so that he will have the team, the counsel, and the multitude of counsel. There is safety. We must keep Larry Reid safe at all costs. Because guess what? Larry Reid did not create this. Larry Reid got called by this. When you hear the knock, you answer the knock. So wherever you are, some of you look at this for entertainment, and it is entertainment. But even entertainment, are we still going to the movies tonight?
We sure we're just
so how much is a movie ticket for
it
tonight?
depends on which one we go to. It could be $20.
$20, right? So if this is entertainment, we even pay for our entertainment. Right? LarryReidLive is entertainment.
Yeah.
Entertainment, right? Then give something to support it, to keep it alive. And as you are supporting it, this platform will only grow. And guess what? Make the community stronger. Because what does it do? It holds all of us accountable. Because you must have the accountability, and we thank God that he's saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, speaking in other tongues. Because if we do not police within our own community, we don't want outsiders coming in to police us.
Because they kill us.
Because they will kill us. They have no love for the church.
I'm gonna say this, and I want to say this to Dr. Shammah and to you guys, because you guys trusted my platform to actually, advertise what you guys do. And the great thing about it is that I don't ever have to end up talking about y'all on my show because y'all do what's right. So that's a great thing. So I want to say hats off to you guys for being great examples in our community. And it's so funny you mentioned about telling everybody to support. As far as the lawyers is concerned, you can put the lawyer's picture there. I asked everybody to pray for this Muslim and for this Jew. And as I was sitting right here, the last thing I went live about, the paperwork that was sent to me, not only was it served wrong, but on top of that, she done found a huge mistake in it while we were sitting right here and text me. She said this, and because all the cases she keeps, Sadir and Olga, they are Bulldogs. She said this is some of the most unethical practices that she's ever seen by lawyers. And she also said that they're not that smart because of how they're filing paperwork and doing certain things. And so I'm glad, because those of you that have supported, that I'm able to secure these high power lawyers, and because they keep me safe.
Well, Larry, for what I see God getting ready to do, and if I be a prophet of God, my word will not fall to the ground. God told me that in 2020, he's getting ready to rip coats and tear mantles off of leaders that will not be in the future of the church. And the way I saw it, it was almost like how the prophets came in old and ripped the mantle because it wasn't there to cover. There's going to be leaders that we're going to see that has national falls, that the glory is going to walk away because they're going to be the dinosaurs of what is going to be what is relevant for the time. And I got very, very concerned when I began to see this in a vision. And so we've got to get ourselves ready, because there is a new church that is emerging on the scene that the Lord is beginning to cause to raise up, that's going to be speaking some very relevant things and radical messages. And watch this. We will also need to discern the difference between learning fathers and fathers. We have learning fathers leading where fathers should be leading, and fathers sitting where learning fathers should be sitting. We got to discern the difference between learning mothers and mothers. Someone asked me in the church the other day and said, well, what's the difference between a learning mother and a mother, Bishop, that is a mother's mother? I said, well, put it this way. A learning mother still spills blood. A mother, the cycle has stopped. The drama has stopped. And so we must begin to discern. It takes something. When you hear Bishop Womack says that he's been doing this for 40 years, this is not a learning father. He's not practicing. This is something that has been proven. And so this is why now we've got to get these learning voices put in the places that they need to be put in, and get the fathers in the places they need to be in. And guess what? Everybody should write this down. We are the new ancestors. We got to act accordingly.
They got to act accordingly. I think we're going to stop right there. Those of you that are on the line, just go Wednesday night, call into Dr. Shammah's line on Wednesday night. That is actually this coming up Wednesday. Go ahead. Yeah.
I need you to do me a favor, because I know you have a legal, I hope you have a legal defense. I need you to send me, I don't have CashApp, I have my PayPal. You send me my email, or send it to my wife. I'm going to send you $1,000 to help you with that legal defense. But we're going to keep you around.
90 seconds.
This is nothing but a financial battle.
He said he's going to send what?
And we ain't going to let that happen.
You said you're going to send what?
Hold
The
on,
phone
you
cut
broke
out.
up. Your phone cut out. You said you're going to send what?
I need you, Larry, to send me a PayPal invoice, and I'm going to send you $1,000 for your legal defense. We're not going to let them do this. This is nothing but a money battle.
It
and
is.
we gonna,
60 seconds.
Look, it ain't going to happen.
It is a money battle.
Yeah.
It is that's and my lawyer said that. She said, Olga, because Olga said this, she said what they're doing, they are trying to overwhelm you. And she said she also, she knows she was prophesying, she'll probably get ready for some more to come in. So because they're all getting together. She said they're trying to overwhelm you.
There's a conspiracy out there. There's a whole group gathering, talking on the phone as we're speaking right now.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what the Spirit is showing me. Now watch this. You're going to begin to see this whole thing gets ready to uncover as the plot thickens. And it is going to thicken. But
10 seconds.
what is sad about this is that they pulled money from the community, and you had to go outside of the community to find a savior, because we're not even wise enough to know how to save our own. This is why a Bishop Bloomer feels the knife in his back, because the people he helped to bring onto the network, he discovered were not his friends.
Oh yeah.
And this is where this is still part of that Hamitic curse. We still don't know how to cover the nakedness of our fathers.
Man, somebody
Nor
said,
do we know how to protect our children.
Shammah, somebody said to me, they said, that's Bishop Bloomer's fight. I said, no. They said, that's something he got to deal with. I said, Bishop Bloomer, I'm going to say it like this, but that's not how I said it. I said, Bishop Bloomer is a black face. I said, he is me. I said, he is we. We've all been offended. I said, and we must stand up. And even those, and I said this about Jamal, Brian, you and some of the rest of y'all that have been friends with Bloomer, y'all are horrible friends. I mean, I don't
want them as my friends.
I don't even know him like that. But it's a black face. But I'm just saying, but y'all supposed to be cool, and then you're gonna stand with somebody that has disrespected him and penciled in a black face.
Not just disrespected Bloomer,
I
disrespect the
can't believe
race.
the station is still alive. It should have died overnight. If we pulled out and understand group and community, ain't no way. Healing is in community. Healing is in being in a group. Job only got affected when the devil could not even touch Job until God removed what, Bishop Jordan, from around Job?
The hedge, which is the community.
The hedge.
His
What was the
friends.
hedge? It was the community.
Community.
When the community is removed, that's when you touch. And we have to understand this as a people.
Yeah.
Together we stand, divided they fall. Because I'm not going to fall. But we need to actually join together as people. The hedge is to protect our own.
Yeah. Even if we didn't disagree, even if it disturbs my black privilege, I'm on TV for free. I was on the network for free, but I'm no longer on. Even if it sacrifices my black privilege, I'd rather my black privilege be sacrificed, which means my fame and exposure, versus betraying my race. And this is why we've got to understand what is more dangerous than white supremacy is black privilege that is not conscious.
Enough.
That's one of the reasons why I have not been on these networks and TV, etc., because I am holding my own, because I know what it's all about. I have people come to me and say, we want to take your products, we want to take your formulas, and I know they're going to water it down and it will not bless my community.
And so that's why what we are looking at right now is a test to see if the next, and that's why it says what the president is going to show us is who will not be the black leaders among us. Because it's a test, every generation gets their tests to see if they can stand as a community. Dr. Martin Luther King, community. Jesse Jackson. But then this was the very same network that pissed on Jesse Jackson and got away with it. If you can piss on our elders, now you can piss on the community.
Yeah.
And so it's a test now for will the real social justice activists stand up? And let's see who is doing it for the pay. What does the pay mean? The pay could be dollars behind the scene. The pay could be free program. The pay could be fame. The pay could be overexposure.
Yeah.
All of those are pay. There may be some saying, I don't get a check. No, but you get exposure. That is a payday.
That's what J Maul said. He's saying what I told y'all. Remember I came up there and said that J Maul telling that thing. Yeah, that's true. Okay. There has been so much meat and food, knowledge, wisdom, and insight that have poured out of Dr. Shammah and also my mentor, Elijah Bernard. Listen to me. Watch this over and over and share with everybody. There are, see all them calls? Look, he's scrolling through.
Wow.
There's so many calls. I can't. What you're going to have to do, you must call, you're going to have to call in. Don't even let Bishop see that, because he'll sit here and try to talk to everybody on this phone. Dr. Shammah, y'all got to give that number one more time and your website for all these people to contact and worry you and Lady Womack. Y'all going to be so busy.
No, this is ministry. This
Bishop, we can't do that.
I know you. I know you can't do it. I know you can't do it. I know you can't. I'm not asking you to do this.
Too many
But
folk.
I know this. But I want the people to know this is ministry happening here. Even there is the smiling face of the comic, and then there's the tragedy. Comedy and tragedy works together in the same loop. And so I want you to distinguish what Larry Reid does. He's bringing comedy, but there's tragedy. The comedy is in the tragedy of the community. But until we can get related to the tragedy, we won't find the comedy that begins to free the soul, where laughter is like medicine to the soul. So I'm saying for you to give something. He didn't bring me up here for a ploy for this. I'm just saying to you, put a value on what you're hearing today. Do like $3, right? Do $5. Do $2. Do some type of $1. And consider it like this. If I went to a movie today, how much would I paid? Guess what? Today I've enjoyed something in Larry Reid. I want to give back and hit his CashApp right now. And that is your way of documenting the respect. And guess what? We're not going to let LarryReidLive fall, because he is a part of our community, whether I like him or not. He's a part. I love him with all his tattoos.
Yes, I'm tatted up.
Right. But I still love him. He's still my brother.
My hormones is off. What else he said wrong with me? My immune system ain't right.
But in reality, we are keeping each other together. The community represents the hedge. So CashApp, Larry Reid, listen, community, come together as a community. Come together as a community. We thank God for Bishop Womack. Mm-hmm. He has been I've lost 50 pounds fooling with Bishop Womack. Yeah. I'm eating differently. I'm living differently. Yeah. And when you do his program, Bishop Womack will teach you. Bishop Womack, are there different let me see. There are differences in erections, aren't there?
Oh, most definitely.
And
You can have phase 1, phase 2, or phase 3.
right. And
Phase 1,
yes.
semi hard, medium hard, or the real deal. It's up to you.
You know, I haven't seen the real deal in a long time. Every once in a while, I ain't gonna mind y'all. Don't put my business out there, but I be so proud when I see the real deal. I just ain't got nowhere to put it.
But let me just say something.
But
I mean, you're gonna put it in your head. Here is it. Your success is connected with your sex drive. Oh. People that are very now watch this. Now
I got a
watch
lot
this.
more
Watch
going
this.
on than before.
Really, what the mega churches are, really, when you think about it,
Lord.
I want you to get this, because with power must come discipline. Mm-hmm. It is not the anointing that has put them in those pulpit. It is the sex drive that has put them in front of those people.
That's right.
And they can't handle it.
They can handle it if they choose to handle it, but it needs to be handled. Because see, you can't make decisions with your lower head. You got to let the upper head make the decision, not the lower head. A man has two heads, and one will rule.
Okay, I just had an idea. This Bishop Shammah, Pearson, who's the Bloomer? One panel. Let's do a live show here in Atlanta.
Okay, that would be
do
great.
A panel.
Yes. Listen,
Would love it.
Yeah, and what Bishop Womack began to teach us. See, remember when you were a young man, 16, 18 years old, when you woke up in the morning, you had a tent in your underwear.
I ain't done that, and I was just talking about that the other day. I ain't did it in a long time.
You lost your tent, but with Bishop Womack, he can get your tent back.
Yeah, but see, when
resurrection is still possible.
But see, like
resurrection.
It was yesterday or the day before I had the phone. I'm like, whoa. I mean, this came out of the blue. And I'm so happy when I'm able to see all the interest that God has given unto me. All right, so let me let y'all go because what? I'm just saying, look.
Larry, don't forget to send me the link tonight so I can send you that money.
Look, okay, I ain't gonna forget. If Lady Womack is watching, Lady Womack, text it to me because okay, please text me what he want me to do so I know what to do. Lady Womack, it really keeps. She be running everything. Do you see what Michael said? Talking about she fine. It's a spirit.
That's a spirit.
And Shammah gonna whoop your tail.
I'm gonna. Shammah is a martial artist as well.
See, Michael, you ain't got food, but you got your gun.
Yes,
Give it key.
Oh,
he said he love both of y'all, Dr. Shammah. He ain't gonna never teach you how to cook his
This
stuff.
is great. Send some money to LarryReidLive.
No, the camera bishop done knocked it up in the Dante. Okay, all right.
I knocked it up in the Dante.
Okay, look. We're gonna let y'all go. Take care of yourself. Share this with everybody. Everybody need to watch this show on tonight. This was a superb show. So much insight and wisdom and knowledge has came from Shammah and Bernard. These are great men. Them being prophetic and everything else is extra. These are good people. And this is what we really need to have at the forefront in our spiritual communities. Thank y'all so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Shammah.
Thank you, Larry, for having me.
Thank you, Bernard.
Thank you, Larry.
All right. Bye, y'all.